DreAllDay.com.
My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. My background is as a professional athlete. I'm a professional speaker, a professional content marketer, and branding and marketing expert. My background is as a professional athlete, played basketball overseas for 9 years now. Today, I am a professional speaker still. I'm an author. I've written 5 books. I work with businesses and entrepreneurs on building their business. What we about to talk about, read the description, make Manny. We talking about entrepreneurship, 3 things you absolutely must know. I'm from Philadelphia. I live in South Florida. And let's get right into the topic. Now, I've published over 3,000 posts on my website, 4,000 YouTube videos. All right, what's up, Base Danny? What's up? All right, so listen, here's the first thing when we talking about entrepreneurship. Before I even get into the 3 tips, I want to explain to you where my entrepreneurship background comes from, why I had the credibility to be talking about this. It started back in probably around 2009, 2010. And what was happening while I was playing professional basketball, there were some times where I would get a job playing, sometimes when I would not get a playing contract. And at some point I realized I had to think to myself and say, you know, this is not, I don't have any control. Even though I love what I'm doing the thing I would love to do. I would do this for free, but I don't have any control. I don't control when I get a contract. And when I don't have a contract, I can't really make it happen. I can make it happen, but I can't really. I don't call the shots. I kind of had to wait for somebody else to make a decision in order for me to get paid doing what I actually love to do. So even though I was well in the space that I wanted to be in, I was still an employee. I was still a slave to the paycheck. So what I had to do was ask myself a good question. And this is something that's very important that a lot of people need to understand. It's not even about entrepreneurship, but about anything in life. I had to ask myself the right type of question, because I could have easily said to myself, what's so terrible about this situation? Why is this situation so bad? And I'm playing basketball, but I'm actually an unemployed basketball player sometimes. I can't get a job. Tell me why this situation is terrible. And I had every right to ask myself that question, and what my brain would have done was deliver on that question and give me a bunch of other bad things that would have made me feel even worse about my situation. Do y'all understand that? But what I did was ask myself a better question. The better question being, hey, what can I do with this situation where I can take the thing that I actually love doing, which is playing basketball? At the time, I already had my website, had been running for about 3-4 years. At the time, I had started to take YouTube a little bit more seriously. And I said, what can I do? I asked myself a better question. How can I take this and actually make this into a positive where I'm actually in control of the situation and I'm still doing what I love doing? So when I asked myself that question, there was only one answer, and that was I needed to build out my personal brand, start taking YouTube a lot more seriously, and make a business out of Dre All Day. I said, I need to make a business out of myself. I remember I told a friend of mine at the time, like, I don't know what it is. I can't even put it into words exactly what it is that I'm about to do, but I know I have something here with these videos, with this website. People are starting to identify with me. People starting to see me in the mall and know who I am from YouTube. I know it's something I can do with this. I just can't put my finger on exactly how to describe it. And what I was building at the time was what we all now know is what everyone calls a personal brand. At the time, 2009, 2010, nobody was talking about a personal brand. That phrase didn't even exist. So I started building that personal brand probably back in 2005, but I started to identify it as it is now in 2010. So to move on to the point, I know a lot of you, when you think about entrepreneurship, because some people here who are in the room, please tell me, this is a question to everybody, tell me what you think of when you think of the word entrepreneurship. What are the visions that come to mind? And I really actually want to hear from some people from the outside looking in who are not maybe entrepreneurs yet, or maybe people who are, but what you thought it was before you got into it. What did you think entrepreneurship was before you actually started doing it? SK says doing your own thing. James says he thinks of toys. Ahmad Salam, what's going on? We just came into the room. The question is, what did you think, or what is your vision of what an entrepreneur is? Lola Gray says self-employed. Dope Man Gabriel, what's up? What's your vision of what an entrepreneur is? Because we're going to get into some realities of entrepreneurship today. That's what this whole video is about. Shout out to everybody watching this on YouTube and everybody watching on the replay. My business owner is from Henry. What's going on, Henry? Yo, why Cho Hall. Here's what my vision of entrepreneurship was. When I was growing up, my parents were employees, basic middle class employees, maybe even lower middle class employees. My vision of entrepreneurship was like lifestyles of the rich and famous. Somebody has a butler at their house, they got a maid and a butler, they don't wash their own clothes, they don't wash the dishes. SK says she is her own boss. Yeah, well, the question is, what I'm asking is what you thought entrepreneurship was before you became your own boss. Working on your skills while building a life that you love. Exactly. So my thought of entrepreneurship is lifestyles of the rich and famous. This person who has a big house, who gets somebody to come cut their grass every single day, They do whatever they want. They eat caviar and filet mignon every single day. They flush money down the toilet and don't even miss it. That's what I thought an entrepreneur was. They drive a stretch limo to go get some groceries from the grocery store. They don't even have to put their own gas in their own car. Their kids get taken to school every single day in a expensive car. That's what I thought That's what I thought entrepreneurship really was. I thought it was like you had this big mansion of a house that was so big that you can't even go in every room of it every single day. You got more bathrooms than you got bedrooms. There's more bathrooms than there are people living in your house. So everybody got their own individual bathroom. That's what I thought entrepreneurship was. You just had so much money and you could just do anything you wanted to do. I had no idea what an entrepreneur was. What I found out is these realities of entrepreneurship, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This is going to be a discussion as well as me kind of sharing with you the things that I know. First thing you got to understand about entrepreneurship. Actually, let's take it to today. When all of you look on social media, now Periscope is not really a thing, but I say with pictures. When we talk about Twitter, you talk about Instagram especially, oh my God, and Facebook, but especially Instagram. All y'all know Instagram, right? When y'all see somebody who's posting about entrepreneurship, when somebody has an entrepreneurship Instagram account, what kind of things do you see? What kind of things do you hear? Can somebody tell me what kind of things you see and hear when you see people posting about entrepreneurship when it comes to visual things these days? What do you see people talking about when it comes to entrepreneurship? Because I want to know what everybody else is seeing, because I want to make sure my message fits what everybody understands, because I don't want you to believe every single thing that I say. James said he sees hot chicks, aspirations and dreams, boutiques. Right. You see luxury things. What else you see? You see private planes. You see helicopters. You see high-rise condominiums. These beautiful houses. People in expensive suits. It seems like they're never even doing any work. All they're doing is getting in and out of their beautiful cars, doing fantastic things. People are just doing fantastic things, having fun doing everything. It doesn't even seem like work, right? It seems like one big party. And here's the first thing about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is exactly. Kevin J. Brown said it. Vacation, traveling, and rich houses. Exactly. That's what I see. When I see somebody who has an Instagram account, because sometimes I post something on Instagram and I'll get people who are entrepreneur accounts following me, or they'll like my pics, and I look at random Instagram accounts who like stuff that I post. And when I see an entrepreneurship one, usually it's a whole bunch of pictures of travel, nice houses, vacations, private planes, expensive suits, eating money for breakfast. This is what I see with entrepreneurship. Here's the first thing y'all have to understand about entrepreneurship. If you're not yet an entrepreneur, or you're getting into entrepreneurship, or you're already an entrepreneur, you can let me know if you agree with what I'm saying. Number one thing is that it is anything but one big party. All right, entrepreneurship is not fun and games at all. It is anything but a party, is anything but a vacation. It is anything but always fun. It is anything but easy. Does everybody, the entrepreneurs who are watching this right now, do you agree with what I'm saying? All right, exactly. Henry agrees with what I'm saying. SK agrees with what I'm saying. It's anything but a big party. Lola Gray said it's hard work, and we're going to get into that too. All right, entrepreneurship is not one big party. All right, here's the second point that I'm going to make. I'm going to go back through. KH agrees with me. Lola agrees with me. Exactly. So the entrepreneurs in here agree with me. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go through all three, and we're going to kind of circle back and talk about them a little bit more. Here's the second thing you got to understand about entrepreneurship. Because when people see these visions of entrepreneurship, what I thought of when I was thinking about entrepreneurship was that when you're an entrepreneur, everything is just set and perfect, and you don't have to worry about anything. When I was looking at my mom and dad when I was growing up, looking at my grandma, my aunts, my uncles, all the adults around me, it seemed like they were always concerned about having to go to work. They were concerned about working with people that they didn't like. They were concerned about doing jobs they didn't like, and they were always concerned about money. My parents would get mad at us if we ate too much of the grocery store food that they just bought. My parents would get mad if we lost some money. If I said, "Hey, Mom, I think I lost $2 at school today," she would get mad at me. She was like, "How'd you lose $2?" And she was serious about it. My parents would argue with each other about bills sometimes. My parents would get mad at us if we did something that would probably raise their bill for whatever reason. Yes, this will be on my YouTube channel in the future. So when I saw people who weren't entrepreneurs, I saw people who were concerned about money, didn't enjoy what they did for a living, and it seemed like they were always working just to keep up, just to stay on that treadmill. So I thought an entrepreneur was a person where everything was just set. When you're an entrepreneur, my vision was watching the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Everything is just perfect and set. Everything is just peaches and cream. You got birds chirping, birds sitting on your windowsill when you wake up in the morning. Your butler comes and brings you breakfast in bed. You ain't even got to get out of bed. You got orange juice, you got your pancakes, you got your cereal. Everything is just perfect. That's what I thought entrepreneurship meant, that everything is just set in stone and you don't have to worry about anything. What I came to find out was that entrepreneurship is the exact opposite of that. And can you entrepreneurs please let me know if you agree with what I'm saying right now. Number 2 point about entrepreneurship is that you have to deal with uncertainty. And you have to deal with a lot of uncertainty when it comes to entrepreneurship. And here's the thing. Here's some of the things you got to deal with when it comes to uncertainty with entrepreneurship. Number 1 is that there's going to be a lot of times where you have no idea how you're going to make your next dollar. Another thing about uncertainty is you're going to put something out, or you're going to offer some product or service. And I see entrepreneurs agreeing with me here. You're going to offer some product or service and you like, I wonder if anybody is actually going to buy this. And there's going to be a time you put out a product or service, or you offer something to the public and nobody's going to buy it. You're going to be like, I thought this was going to make me at least $1,000 this month, and it didn't make you any money. There's going to be times when we get into point number 3, talking about being worse off. Point number 3 is that during some points of your entrepreneurial journey, it might be at the beginning, it might be in the middle, it might be in the end. Hopefully it never comes to an end, but it might be in the beginning, it might be in the middle, it might be a situation you're going through right now. I heard an entrepreneur say this the other day. There are going to be times where if you have people working for you, they're going to be making more money than you making. When you're the entrepreneur, when you're the business owner. I was listening to this guy, he was a restaurant owner. He said there were points where the employees was making more money than us, because we had to pay the employees every single week. They had a guaranteed paycheck. When you're an employee, that's the thing that keeps most people in the employee situation, is that they want that guaranteed paycheck. They want that check coming in every single week. They got the stability of this check. Is not actually stable, because you could have a floor swept out from under you at any given time. But while you're an employee, you do have pretty much a guaranteed paycheck every single week. But when you're an entrepreneur, exactly as Logan said, you have the overhead. You have things that you got to pay for every single month. You got merchant processing fees. You might have rent if you have a brick and mortar location. You got all these fees you got to pay online. Even me, I don't have a brick and mortar store, but just on websites alone, I spend over probably close to $2,000 a year just on websites alone, with the hosting, with the domains, with virtual assistants, with all the things that you have to pay for. You're spending money every single month as an entrepreneur. There's always overhead when you're an entrepreneur. And the thing is, there are times when you're not making a whole bunch of money yourself. After you pay the people you got to pay, you take care of all your expenses, there might not be a lot of money left over for you when you're an entrepreneur. So these are the 3 things just to review, and we're going to talk about these a little bit more. And I'm also going to take questions and comments from the audience. I know we have some entrepreneurs in the room. Number 1, it is not all fun and games being an entrepreneur. It is not. Number 2, you have to deal with uncertainty. If you're not good at dealing with uncertainty, you will not be a good entrepreneur. You won't last long. You'll probably end up closing down whatever business you started, and you'll go right back to being an employee. And number 3, there's going to be time periods, and it might be a long time period, where you're doing worse either as an entrepreneur than you were as an employee, or you're doing worse than somebody who is an employee, or even one of your own employees, because you already know you have to pay your employee every single month. The entrepreneurship business does not actually have to pay you every month. It might pay you, it might not. So when you're an entrepreneur, understand that you're going to go through a time period that you have to build that business. And understand that most businesses fail within their first 3 to 5 years. So it might take you 3 to 5 years of building a business where you're not really making a lot of money before that business matures, or either A, dies, or B, it matures and you start actually making some income from it that can replace whatever your full-time income was, or be better than what you were making as an employee. And so if you're already an employee now and you want to start a business, then start your business on the side, because you don't even know if that business is going to make it. But if you do know it's going to make it, at least wait until it replaces what you're already making, or is making way more than what you're already making. Because right now, why not just make money 2 ways? We know that all millionaires make money. People who are millionaires make money average of 7 different ways. So if you're making money one way as an employee and you add a second way as an entrepreneur, don't drop the first way. Now you're right back to making money one way again. So you want to make money multiple different ways. Even as an entrepreneur, you can make money in multiple different streams. So the 3 things again: it's not all fun and games. It is not a party. Number 2, you must deal with uncertainty, because there's going to be a ton of it. And number 3, you're going to be worse off as an entrepreneur than you were as an employee, or than you are as an employee, for a period of time until your business gets to the point that it can replace the income that you were making. Now, can I take any questions from anybody here in the live studio audience? I see some people coming in and out. Chris Gospel, Base Danny, what's going on? Any questions we could talk about entrepreneurship, or any comments coming from, I know we have some entrepreneurs watching the stream right now. This is Dre Baldwin. My website is dreallday.com. For those of you who are checking me for the first time, don't know, just make sure you follow me, because we talk about this stuff all the time. Kevin J. Brown said, thanks for being so real. So tired of people selling us fluff and not the reality on this topic. Absolutely, Kevin. You definitely had the number one most important point I would say about all this is dealing with the uncertainty. Because that's what really determines how far somebody's going to go in life, period. Because even if you're an employee and you work at a job, there are going to be times you have to deal with uncertainty. There are going to be things you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to make this work this month. I have no idea how I'm going to eat next week. Question Chris asks, how do you successfully transition from being an employee to being a full-time entrepreneur? As I just said, Chris, you might not have caught it. You start your entrepreneurship thing, whatever it is you're doing, start doing that on the side while you're still being an employee. And wait until your entrepreneurship business is at least making you what you were making as an employee, at least. Make money from both ways at the same time. So now you basically doubled your money. Be Phenomenal said, do I have to focus on just one thing, or could I play basketball and be an entrepreneur? Yeah, you can do both, but make sure that with basketball, you got to have your game sharp. So don't sacrifice your basketball game to try to get into entrepreneurship at the same time. Do it in the cracks of your schedule. You know, if you're a basketball player, you do have to work on your game, your body, and be in shape. Base Danny says, how long you can run the new business? I don't understand what you mean by that comment. You're always going to be running a new business. There never comes a point where you're not running it. So as you're building, if you're building, let's say you're an employee right now, build your business on the side. So if you could put 15 minutes a day into your business, give it 15 minutes a day. If you could do an hour a day, do an hour a day. Whatever it is you can give, make sure you're consistent with it, because the same way you are able to keep a job, because you're consistent. You show up every day at work when you're supposed to. You got to do the same thing with your business. So it can't be, I feel like doing it today, or I don't feel like doing it this week, or next week I'll do my business all week, but then I'm going to take off all of December. No, you got to do your business consistently, the same way that you would do a relationship consistently, the same way you would take care of your kids consistently, the same way you show up to your job consistently. Especially if you plan on that business maturing and you have people working for you. If you're not consistent, then they might lose their job if you lose the entire business, and those people took that job working for you, depending on you to run the business the right way, inherently depending on you. You might not have that conversation, but they're expecting that business to run. Same way at the job you work at right now, you expect the business to keep running the right way. You expect the owners to do right by the employees by running the business properly. If you're not doing that, you're not disciplined enough to do that, then you're doing a disservice, an ethical disservice to your employees. So just to recap one more time before we wrap up this stream. Number one, it is not all fun and games to be an entrepreneur. Number two, you must learn to deal with uncertainty, because there will be a ton of it. The fact that you can deal with that uncertainty or can't deal with it, the way that you deal with it will determine how well you do, not only in business, but also in life. And number three, you're going to be worse off than an employee for a time period. So if you start a business and you had a coworker who was working at a job and said, well, I want to see how you do in that business, don't let them come to you after 6 months or a year and a half and say, well, how's your business going? Why haven't you become rich yet? Because that's what a lot of people who are not entrepreneurs think it is. The same way that I thought it. I thought if you became an entrepreneur, if you just put that title next to your name, that automatically means it comes with $1 million. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually put some work into it, and you have to put work into it for a long time, not knowing if your work is even going to pay off with what you think is going to pay off with before you get the success. So that's a 5 to 10 year journey. It might be a 15 to 20 year journey. You got to be willing to deal with the uncertainty of, if I invest 5 years of my life into this business, X amount of time every week, every day into this business for 5 years, is it going to pay me what I want it to pay me? There is no guarantee that it will. It's not a guarantee that it won't. You had to deal with the uncertainty of that and still keep doing the work. Most people can't deal with that type of uncertainty. That's why most people don't become entrepreneurs, or people who do become entrepreneurs do so unsuccessfully, because they were unable to deal with the uncertainty of not knowing that there was a guarantee, there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You got to keep walking, not knowing if there's going to be a pot of gold. You might walk for 5 years and find out there's nothing at the end of that pot. So if you are able to deal with that uncertainty, you can be an entrepreneur. Joy 21, absolutely. No pain, no gain. Now, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going, why do most businesses fail financially? Well, you have to ask each individual business. There's not any one thing. And there are ways that you can start a business without spending a lot of money. I didn't have to invest a lot of money to start my business. I had a camera and I had a gym membership. Kevin J. Brown said, have you seen people quit dealing with the length of uncertainty? Of course, that's what people do every single day. Every single day, people quit being an entrepreneur or shut down their businesses because they can't deal with the uncertainty of is there going to be some success at the end of this? Because there's no guarantee that there will, there's no guarantee that there won't. You got to work as if you believe that it is, even though you know that it isn't. And that's what separates a successful person from an unsuccessful person, is that they can act with belief, even though there is no guarantee of what they're actually believing in. And that's pretty much leadership in a nutshell right there, what I just said. I got to write that down. A leader is somebody who can act with belief even when there is no reality around them that gives them a guarantee of that belief. That's it right there. And that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell. Everybody is not built for this. Listen, every business owner got a whole bunch of employees, right? Employees don't have business owners. Business owners have employees. So if you go to a company, most small businesses are usually just one person. But there are businesses that have multiple people. Any of you ever worked a job that was more than one person working there besides you, right? So everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. Some people need to be employees. An entrepreneur needs somebody to work for him to take the job load off his hands. But we're going to end this one right here. I think I'm going to come back with another one this afternoon. I might do a back-to-back. I know I'm going to do another one when I'm driving this afternoon. So we're going to wrap this one up right here, everybody. Again, my name is Dre Baldwin. My website is called dreallday.com. If you're a business-minded individual, connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Dre Baldwin. You'll find me right on there. Professional speaker, content marketer, branding strategist, blogger, YouTuber, basketball player, professional speaker. I'm everything, man. We wrapping this one up. Have a good afternoon, everybody. I might come back to back. I got to think about it. Lameka said, talk to me about your mobile app requirements. Well, Lameka, I actually just started working with somebody on that. You caught me a little bit too late, so I guess I need to update my Now page. But keep in touch with me. Send me an email and we'll connect. We might be able to work. We might be able to work in some way in the future. You never know. So we wrapping this one up, everybody. Anybody want to connect with me? Got a question that I didn't cover here, or something you want to talk about that's not even about this with me privately? Email me. My email address is dre@dreallday.com. I'll check y'all later. Thanks for watching this video. I'm sure you were entertained. Make sure to stay connected with me on all your favorite social networks. Twitter and Periscope at Dre All Day. Instagram, Dre Baldwin. Facebook /Work on Your Game. You can bookmark my YouTube channel by subscribing, of course. And the website is workonyourgame. That's .me. Workonyourga.me. And of course, my homepage is my website, dreallday.com. So you can know exactly what I'm doing, exactly when I'm doing it, and how you might be able to be involved. Work on your game.